And welcome to Tuesdays with Carly, our juicy Q&A we do every Tuesday, unless we forget like we did for the last 5 Tuesdays.
Welcome to the Third Win channel. In this video, we're going to be answering 10 of your questions following the most recent episode of iCarly, which was I Go Public. Today we'll be talking about Freddie, Sam, villains, and more. Shall we get into the first question? The first question was the most commented and asked about topic this week, and it revolves around if Carly and Freddie have slept together, and people seem a little divided on what the answer is. So what can we take from I Go Public to help us answer this question? A few things. Harper asks Carly if they finally slept together, and Carly answers jokingly, "Shut up." And my read on this now, having thought about it more, is that Harper is playfully mocking Carly, and Carly has always strayed away from these personal topics and is quite reserved. That was the topic of the third episode of season 2, I'm Wild and Crazy. Also, an answer like shut up can go both ways, yes and no, because it's deflective. The only other things we can really point to are their physical intimacy and how long they have dated. It seems like it's been a few weeks since they started dating, and as to the physicality of their relationship, they have some intense, highly physical kisses, which makes it feel like they've been doing more than just that. All that makes me think that the writers have hinted at this so much because they want to plant seeds for future episodes, and after all, lifelong friends need to learn to be lovers. It's a learning curve, and surely there will be an episode about their potentially awkward transition, so no, I don't think that they've slept together yet. Next question, could they recast Sam? Simply, yes. I've never been a big fan of recasting, but considering we have such a big gap, you could create some believable aging. The casting would have to be absolutely perfect though. Would or will they do something like this? No, I really don't think so. In a purely hypothetical scenario where Sam returns to the show in some form, that would be the greatest cliffhanger possible in my opinion. Could shake everything up. I'm curious, let me know in the comments, how do you feel about the idea of Sam being recast? The next comment here will be split into 2 questions, and we will continue the discussion of what the potential big reveal cliffhanger could be at the end of the season. We know one of Freddie's ex-wives, Gwen, a recurring character on the show now, but who is the other? And could they appear in the finale to shake things up? I think that would be great, and while Gwen was a new character for us in the revival, I feel it'd be fantastic to see a more convoluted ex for the second reveal, someone Carly and Freddie have history with. I like this idea a lot. Why do I keep talking about shaking things up in the finale? Well, you can't continue this show's storytelling element past season 3 without conflict, which leads me to the last question about what the cliffhanger could be today. Could Carly and Freddie break up in the season finale? I think that's a big possibility. If the show is bound to end with season 3, then it makes sense that Carly and Freddie end the season with a marriage or a pregnancy or something binding, but the cast have told us that it's a cliffhanger and it's going to leave us wanting more. That points towards conflict, and what's the main thing us, the audience, cares about? Carly and Freddie. My early suggestion about what could happen is either some kind of secret from the past puts their relationship on new terms, or a character will come back to stir conflict. But there will be something. You heard it here first. Freddie and Carly will not be smooth sailing. Will they break up at some point? Probably temporarily? Yes, I think so. The only show I can think of that didn't need to do that was The Office with Jim and Pam, but they're not the only main characters in that show. I think Carly and Freddie is, for those of you who have seen Gossip Girl, more like Serena and Dan or Chuck and Blair, more along those lines. They are meant for each other, but the journey to the end will not be easy, and as we've already seen for 15 years with Carly and Freddie, it has already been like that. I've really dragged this question out, but lastly, Carly and Freddie seem so good right now. It will really need to be something big to stir things up, and that gets me really excited for what will happen in the finale. Question 5. How many episodes will Marissa be in? I like this question because it helps us think about the timeline of the season, and my perception is that she'll be in at least 3 episodes, more likely 4, and it will depend on if the bachelorette party we see in the trailer is a separate episode from the one in the finale with the wedding. I think it is, and I would guess we'll see 4 episodes with Marissa. Next question is another shorter one, something I potentially missed in my review. Is the malfunction with the drones an Easter egg to I Want More Views in the original? I think you're right. I think it might be. Spencer has shown before that electronics really isn't his thing, and the thing is, Peon Carl is pretty much as far as they could push it in the original, and now the malfunction in the revival with the phallic figures is a pretty similar case. So the more I think about it, the more I think this was a brilliant catch. I think this was definitely inspired by Peon Carl, which by the way still cracks me up when I see it to this day. And now we cut over to a special segment of this Q&A, the iCarly villain segment. First up, we know that Nevil is coming back this season. By the way, very exciting. So could he be the one to sabotage Carly and Freddie's relationship? What a great idea. Who else would come up with a plan so diabolical, a plan which would take time, brains, and a personal vendetta to accomplish? So many thoughts come to mind about how he could secretly manipulate their relationship. We've already seen him compared to Hannibal Lecter in Sam and Cat, so this would be well in the balance for an adult Nevil. Let's hear your theories on Nevil's return in the comments below. Isn't this the perfect way to bring him back? A saboteur? Question 8, you can start to think now, who else would want Carly and Freddie to not be together? I can think of a few, and one of them would most certainly be Nora, if we use the original as a reference. If you remember the iPsycho episodes in the original, one of the creepiest things in those episodes was her attraction to Freddie. We have seen that Nora is still very much crazy in the revival and very much still obsessive, so when she finds out that Freddie is now publicly in a relationship with Carly after their rooftop stream, it could bring out the worst in Nora. I don't think this is going to happen since we haven't had it teased, but it would be a great storyline. That's it for our little villain segment. We now have 2 questions to go, and we're moving into the more lovey-dovey segment. It's time to get some more credit questions. So, question 9. Could one of the tests to Carly and Freddie's relationship be Carly's birthday? We have seen one episode with Carly's birthday in season 1, which you'll remember from both the original and the revival means bad luck for Carly. And the season 2 finale for the revival was of course Freddie's birthday, where we get this quote from Freddie.
Because you keep telling her that the first birthday in a relationship determines whether the couple will go the distance? Nah, I'm sure that barely registered.
So how better to write a test for Carly and Freddie's relationship than the first birthday together, mixed with the fact that it's Carly's birthday and it's always unlucky? I think this is a pretty good idea, but perhaps the only barrier is that it's a little repetitive with all the birthdays we've seen so far, but I still like it. Will it happen? I don't think so, but again, such a cool idea. Our last question is one which I feel I really can't answer, as it's one of the most complex questions in the entirety of the iCarly lore. Has Carly always loved Freddie in the back of her mind? Like I said, I'm not ready to answer that question here, but if you want to see how I see their relationship, you can watch a recent video I made called The Story of Carly and Freddie. But what I can say is that in my own personal life, I've seen best friends become the most beautiful romantic couples, and there's a magic to the trust and relationship between 2 best friends that translates into a wonderful partnership. That will do it for this Q&A. If you want your questions featured in next week's Q&A, drop those questions on this video or in future videos coming in the next week. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next video.